eternal and perfect expression of God. How the spirit within longs to accept this truth, to accept it and to live it, to be it, is the whole purpose of incarnation, to come home. Coming home to your perfect, exquisite self that has no relationship, no connection to the self that was made out of fear and the belief of separation. In the journey of love, everything is upside down and waiting to be righted, taken from the upside down into the sanity. If we could see the obviousness of the upside downness, every beloved would let go in a heartbeat. But just like the wizard in The Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, the ego behind the curtain is good at camouflaging and making it reasonable to have judgments and opinions, and that even fear is reasonable, and that all the pain of the belief of separation that expresses itself as greed and jealousy and scarcity and all of the many, many, many identities, in its upside downness, it seems reasonable to think that way, to have thoughts of separation and also to believe the sight and the hearing and all the senses that affirm the body's identification in separation. The eyes say, I am separate, look. The ears say, I hear judgment, I hear assessments, I'm just joining. But love is constantly calling to recognize that all of the thoughts that are not peace, that are not joy, are mistaken, are part of a false identity that is purposefully being called to be surrendered. The strength of love moves with you in every moment that you invite the strength of love. This is not a journey of aloneness. This is not a journey of figure it out yourself, because the little self could never figure this out. The journey home depends on the guides of love, the teachings of love, the truth of love, to lead the way. And every beloved has been blessed with connection. The silver cord of connection has never been broken. Even though the identity of being a separate body became so dominant and so prevalent, so much the symbol of separation itself. Not just in its identity as something separate, but in its belief of death. And taking on that belief of death as fact. And having fear be seemingly normal. And hatred being normal. But the cord of love that is always connected calls you to open to being led. That you have mighty companions always with you. And as you invite those mighty companions, the wisdom of the universe speaks to you and leads you, counsels you when you're confused, returns you to the simplicity of peace when you forget and get caught in confusion, complexities, and the belief of knowing. Love calls you back. Always waiting, always available. The journey of love does not have to be difficult. There is only one cause of the difficulty in the journey of love, and that is resistance. The resistance that comes from fear that has developed a system that says, I want to be in control myself. I'll do it myself. But every master that has ever incarnated and remembered through that incarnation, everyone has recognized the same thing. Help me. Help me and show me. Teach me. And I will listen. I will follow. And when I forget, I will begin again. The happiness of learning, the happiness of being shown the way is breathtaking in its blessings. The power of love that can transform everything. Everything that has been believed in of pain and suffering of any kind. The power of love has the capacity to heal all beliefs of separation, all beliefs of pain and suffering, all beliefs of hatred within the world. It disappears in the name of love. It disappears because it never really existed. It was never true. And the truth rises, the truth that is love comes forward as the lies disappear. To accept the blessings of love is to accept the holiness that is the truth of who you are. Coming back to the happiness of learning over and over and over again. Coming back again and again to the blessings of being guided. The arrogance of the ego would hold in disdain the guidance of love as proclaiming somehow that you're weak because you turn for help. Because everything in the illusion is upside down, everything that is the illusion of separation is completely upside down. When you ask for help, you are proclaiming your strength. The strength is in the union with the guidance of love. The weakness of separation behaves like a bully, proclaiming strength and knowing. But it's really the place of endless fear and weakness that has no reality. There is nothing weak in the truth of love. There is nothing helpless in the truth of love, of God. And that strength is yours in the joining of love. The everyday life is just the constant yes. The yes to that incredible strength that can transform all of creation. Allow in this moment the willingness of the heart, the center of the universe, to truly be affirmed in the union of love. That here in the infinite circle of love we are one. affirming in this moment that the universe is all love, and the willingness to join in that strength, to be transformed in your yes. Affirming in this moment that this sanctuary is filled with love. Only love can exist. And the illusion is forgotten. There is only one presence here. It is the life force of God. The life force of God that completely is the universe itself. The life force of God that is every element of creation, without exception. All life as the life force of God. To open to that divine spirit that is the truth of who you are. Letting the truth of your divine spirit become known to you, become lived. The willingness in this moment to live in the quiet stillness of love itself, and to offer that love constantly, intentionally, to surrender the personal mind, the personal thoughts, the personal habits, and let the spirit bloom in this moment. One heart, complete, and home by choice, returning home. Allow this prayer to enter into your awareness through the heart, through your yes of intention, affirming that you do want the strength of God. And as you accept the strength of God, you walk more firmly in the quiet peace of all love. Remembering your intention moment to moment as the outside changes within the day and you move from one form to another, one situation to another. Each moment is the opportunity of being at peace and being peace and offering peace. How simple it is to recognize that to have peace, offer peace. Can life be that simple? Yes, because love is that simple. All the complications and complexities are always separation. Love is simple. Allow it to take you. With every prayer, remembering the strength of love itself. Oh, my Father, give me strength, give me courage on this road, to be a child of yours on earth and tread the path the Master showed. Oh, my Mother, help me love, give me comfort to be aware, to obey these sacred teachings. It was your Son who showed the way. Oh, my Master, your compassion can see through this pain, for it was you who came to earth to release us from these chains. Oh, my Father, I am yours. Give me comfort to be aware. Send your angels here to guide me on this sacred path of the sun. Oh, my Father and my Mother, who rule the world of love, send your angels to receive me through the gateway of pure love. Oh, my Father, give me strength. If you ask for strength 1,000 times a day, it isn't too much. There isn't love on the other side saying, I'm sorry, you only have so much to ask for. And the rest of the time you're on your own. If you need strength 1,000 times a day, strength is given 1,000 times a day. There is never a lack of blessings that are ready to be offered to you in your willingness to ask for help. That's where the strength is. The strength that it takes to give courage on the road. How could you possibly know the way? We've never walked this way before. That is where the true humility serves so deeply, is to recognize, I don't know the way. How could I possibly know the way? But all of love is wanting to show me the way and serves that divine intention. To have the blessings of sacred teachings, truth that is offered and held, is again such a deep blessing to recognize there is so much love always being offered, always being given. It's only the willingness to receive it, the willingness to be available, and to let go of what the mind knows and how the mind plays its games of self-importance and wanting to prove worth, all being surrendered. The realization that there is no worth that could in any way touch the magnificence of your true being. The measly little worth that beloveds look for through the ego is just minute, settling for so little, when your light is so much, everything. And all of this light and awareness comes through the humility of show me the way. I don't know. Again, completely upside down from the world of illusion, which holds knowing as the all-important factor. And in the journey of love, it's letting go of all that you've known. In that truth, equality arrives, because it doesn't matter anymore how much you have known in this world or not known, or what your IQ may be, or your education, or anything in this world. It's all in complete equality, that everyone can open to love. And remember, and come home. No one is beyond that. No one is not capable of remembering. Thank God. You don't have to become a spiritual guru of knowledge, just the yes of your heart. And the humility of, I don't know the way. Show me. I will listen. The truth of your being is so beyond comprehension in this world that it's important to keep affirming magnificence. It's ordinary. Everyone is in the same magnificence, but it is the magnificence of God that lives in the heart, in the truth of who you are. This prayer, this declaration, is a declaration of your light, to accept that you are not big or small. You are the light of God. I am life. I am the path. And the pure, eternal love that comes back and enters through the door of love to come home to God. I am here, I am there, I am everywhere where there are beloveds gathered in the name of love. I am. I am light. I am the torchbearer. I am one with all creation. I am the child. I am one with the Father. I am one with all divine spirit. I am the truth. I am that. To accept the holiness that you are is to reject, truly reject the identity that has been made in this world. Not rejecting it out of hatred, but letting it fall away, no longer seen as relevant or true. Because the light is shining so brightly in your heart. And the mind has been given back to God. And you rest. But even as you rest, the joy of life itself dances within. So a vida, so caminho, so pura ten amor. So a chave da porta estreita que vos leva de voltou o Senhor. Estou aqui, eu estou lá, eu estou sempre em todo lugar. Onde estiver irmão, sei unido, sei me nome eu, ali estou. Sou a luz, sou o teu cheiro, eu sou o mestre ensinador. Sou filho, sou pai, sou Espírito Santo, e sou vosso Redentor. There is a place in this world where you accept the light that you are, and at the same time, the recognition that I am nobody. I am nobody, and I am only the light that is able, in the perfection of love, to dance with all creation, and to be the joy of beauty and perfection and eternal life. This is the coming home. This is the journey home. Free to love without reservation, without limitation. It's who you are. Falling on a soft mat. More attentive than any lover or parent is God to us. But our gauge of judgment is impaired by the world's values. And the bodies often dominate over our spirit realm. A young child first learning to walk and very likely to fall may be allowed to do so by a wise guardian or teacher. If there is a soft mat beneath its body that will cushion it from harm. There is a soft rug you can place around others. It is forgiveness. It is charity. We are all still learning to walk in ways that beloveds can help each other, and everything I am related to. The calling of service, the calling of offering that help. Forgiveness is a power of transformation that is essential to remembering the truth of love. Forgiveness is within. To forgive yourself for the mistaken identities that have been made, gathering through lifetimes, layers on layers of separated identities, facades. When you forgive yourself, your learning is expanded, because as you forgive yourself for the mistaken thoughts and identities that you've carried, you open to compassion. You open your heart to kindness for yourself. It isn't just an erasing of the false identity. It's a blessing. And it opens you to the awareness of the truth of compassion. Compassion in the world is a word that, for the most part, uses pity as a substitute for the truth of compassion. Pity for the perception of limitation in yourself and in others. None of that is true. The forgiveness washes away the belief of limitation and the belief of a false identity that's been made. But the forgiveness that is as powerful is the forgiveness that is brought to forgiving yourself for having condemned others for their false identities, for having been mistaken in believing that others were harmful or terrible or not what you wanted them to be. Forgiveness is essential. And it does open the door to such compassion and charity. Charity is a freely given offering of love. Again, charity is not pity. It isn't given in the name of someone being bad or wrong or without. But the true charity is the charity of the heart that offers love without conditions, that refuses the mind's wanderings into blame and grievances that are so natural to the ego. Everywhere you look in the world, grievances are accepted as normal. But in the journey of love, it's the realization that grievances have no reality. It's just made up. In the belief that grievances are your right because you believe the past. And the temptation in the everyday life is to have grievances. And they're easy to find through the senses and through the past, because every time you have even an inkling of a grievance, it throws you back into the past. You're no longer possibly present because it's an automatic. Grievances have to come from the past. They can't come from any place else. And then the pain is that you're living in the past, reliving a false identity and a painful place that has no truth. So the need to surrender and forgive all grievances, forgive yourself for all the grievances that have been held. There's a wide range that covers grievances. Grievances can be just an irritation of someone says they're going to do something and they don't do it, and it strikes you as not following the rules that you've carried in your belief of your own rules, rather than the laws of God, the laws of love. Grievances are always a self-attack. As soon as you have a thought of wrongdoing from anyone, and you hold it as true, you're in suffering. You're suffering out of hatred, you're suffering out of guilt, out of shame, because guilt always piggybacks with grievances. And it stirs within you all the times that you have been unfairly treated in the world, and holds you deeply in the illusion of the past. To have grievances, or to see through grievances in the everyday life, is to unconsciously want to suffer, because it is a place of suffering. It affirms to you the ego's identification of separation. Every time you have a grievance, you feel more separate. And it causes pain. It seems so normal, the separation seems so normal, that you may not even be aware of the pain, because it just seems normal. But it's not the truth. And once you touch into the peace and the harmony of love, thank God you won't be able to tolerate it anymore. You may tolerate it for a little while, but it becomes very intolerable. Thank God. That's when you know the healing is really taking hold. When you can't tolerate your grievances because it's too painful. and you don't want those lies anymore. Our gauge of judgment is impaired by the world's values, and our bodies dominate over our spirit realm. This is where the turnaround is. To no longer allow the physical to dominate. It isn't just the physical body, it's the identity with it, that's who you are. And that everything that you believe is missing is always about the body. The spirit is whole and complete. The truth of who you truly are is whole and complete. That spirit is shining, even when you're not aware of it. But the body identity is constantly looking to get because it believes that it is without. And it's looking in the world to get. And that place is again painful. Because the belief is, I'm never going to get what I'm looking for. I'm never going to get, it's never going to be enough. And the reason it's never going to be enough is because it's not real. What you're truly looking for is to come home to your divine self, to your natural state of love. And that journey is really within. To finally come to a place where you are nourished by the journey within. To realize that God is the truth of your heart, the truth of your being. And opening to that beautiful communion. It's a terrifying place at first. Everyone who has entered into that journey back home of going within can feel the terror of going within. Why is there terror of going within? It's all because of the unconscious belief that there is self-loathing within that is real. That everyone carries the same self-loathing. Everybody believes that they're the only one that has this self-loathing, but it's not true. Everyone carries it the same. It's not true self-loathing. It's fabricated. It's a ruse, an ego ruse that says, you separated from God and you deserve punishment. You deserve to be banished. Except this is all made up. There is no judgment in God. There's no judgment in love. There is no worth that you have to prove yourself with to come home. It's just letting go of all the made up identity that's really called for. There is a soft rug you can place around others. It is forgiveness and it is charity. And it's resisting the temptation of seeing others as different, as lacking, as not giving you what you wanted, which is usually at the center of it all. The secret personal thoughts that are waiting for someone else to fix something, give you something that you believe is missing when it can't be gotten outside. Now, don't mistake that for not recognizing that in this world of creation, there is the divine light of God in everything that lives, and meeting that oneness. You're not meeting the form of it. It's not about the form and getting something from the form. It's the spirit of love that exists in all creation, and connecting with that creation that is one with you. You're not getting anything from the outside. It's just the oneness that exists. And you just come home. You let the body identity be surrendered into the hands of God, and the body identity begins to become more and more translucent. It isn't so solid in your awareness anymore. And as you let it go, you open to your spirit and meet the true light. That nothing ever changed the truth of who you are. You never lost one tiny anything of your divine spirit. It never got damaged. It never got changed. Nothing of the truth of who you are was in any way lessened. It's intact, waiting for you to forgive the past and let go of the false identity so that you can be available. It's that simple. We don't make it easy in our journeys. When I walk the journey of love, I was determined that I needed to suffer through the journey, make it difficult. And one of my beloved teachers would constantly say, it is not the healing that is difficult, it is your resistance to it. And I was resistant, just like almost everybody is, or else everybody would wake up in a moment, right now. But the resistance, the fear of not being in control, is insidious. The belief that there is something to control is where all the fear comes from. Once you accept that you're only seeing everything that you have believed in, and that you can change your mind about everything by not believing your own thoughts. If the thoughts are not of peace and joy, they don't have any purpose. Love is waiting to be the instrument of love that you are. But to be the instrument of love is to be open and inviting of the divine guides of love. I see all things as I would have them be to me. This is such a key in healing, because without this recognition that everything that you see is coming from your own mind, your perception is making the meaning of everything that you see. And the healing of everything that you are believing in is in surrendering your mind, surrendering all thoughts as they appear and coming back to peace, coming back to love. There's a beautiful teaching that says, truth will correct all errors in my mind. So how is that possible? Truth will correct all errors in my mind. Let's say you have an irritation. You get upset about something that you perceive happened. And you're in the energy of it, of being upset. And in that moment, doesn't matter how irritated, it doesn't matter if it's full blown out hatred or if it's just an irritation, it's all the same. But in that moment, you have the opportunity of bringing truth to correct the errors of your mind. Your upset is your indicator. If you're not at peace, it's calling you, love is calling you to be aware that when you're not at peace, this can be healed and needs to be healed in the moment because you're stuck in a false thought. So in that moment, you have the opportunity. The truth will correct all errors in my mind. What is the truth? The truth is that I cannot be unfairly treated. The truth is that nothing outside me can disturb the truth of love. Only love exists. That's the truth. There is nothing else but love. So I'm believing something and I'm going to bring the truth to that error. And it will, by inviting it and accepting the truth, it will transform your perceptions of disturbance, whatever they are. Doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter if it's a tree outside that loses all its leaves overnight and you're worried about the tree. As soon as there is worry, you have joined in the illusion of form. You're believing that that being that is within that form can be harmed. It's just the form that will fall away. And it's no different than having worry about the body. The tree is the body, the form, and there is the Spirit of God that is everlasting within that form. It isn't harmed by the leaves falling off and the bark falling off. So the worry is being called to be brought to the truth that the eternal Spirit of God cannot be harmed. That the form will fall away in everything. It isn't that we don't take care of it while it's in form, but it's not the essence of its being. And to come back to that truth. All joy in this world comes from doing God's will. Truly. When you are in your own mind doing what you have decided to do, it engenders a low-grade fever of fear because you're believing that you're in charge and it's frightening. It gives you a sense of power temporarily because you think that you're in charge, but it also engenders fear and the belief of being separate from love. So all joy comes from the relinquishment into God's will. Thy will be done. Show me the way. I'm willing. I'm willing and I'm ready. Almost everyone in this universe that's in a body is not aware of joy. I didn't know joy. I knew the word. I knew the word when it's used in a Christmas carol, joy to the world. But I had never experienced joy. So how do you recognize joy? You'll know it when it's there, for sure. And it always is in peace. Joy is never not peaceful. It's all part of love. It's perfect, and it's who you are. But to really experience joy is your journey can be joyous. It can be peaceful. Even before awakening fully, you can be aware and living in a more peaceful place. And where does the peace come from? The peace comes from the lack of knowing. The more that you think you know, the more unpeaceful it is. Because you need to then control your kingdom. And it's painful and it's frightening. Because then you're terribly afraid of making a mistake. How many times a day are there fears of making mistakes? All of those fears of making mistakes comes from the belief that you are in charge and that your thoughts, your own thoughts, are what should be running. But it engenders fear. Almost instantly, it engenders fear. And it affirms a separate identity. Every time you want to make decisions on your own, fear comes up and you feel more separate, which also engenders more fear. You don't feel the strength of the mighty companions that are always with you. You don't feel the connection of the divine. And that's what's really the longing is. Prayer is one of the ways that keeps you sane in the everyday life. Praying brings you back to some part of reality. There's a beautiful prayer that says, "Let every voice within be still except for the voice of God." It's an invitation that you want help in stilling the voice of the mind that is constantly having opinions and assessments of everything and engendering fear. Let it all be still. I want to hear only the voice of God. I know you've heard me say before to go into the closet with God. It's symbolic, but it's that quiet place within you that is like going into the closet where you're in the intimacy with God, giving everything to love and wanting that peace and wanting that harmony. and wanting to remember. Remembering. So why doesn't everybody go into the closet with God? Because there is a fear of looking inside. There's a fear of what you thought you've done or what you think you didn't do. And just this overwhelming, it can be an overwhelming sense of wrongdoing, even in a moment where nothing is occurring. Don't be afraid to go within. Go past the fear, go past the self-loathing that will come out to take your attention. And as you keep going deeper and deeper, you will meet the friend within. The friend that is the truth of you and the truth of God as one. To go within is to be resting in the beautiful company of love until you merge completely and remember that you are that love. You are the love that the universe is. You are the universe. And the road to coming home is through the letting go of the blocks that have been made against love. For that, there is a vigilance, yes. And the vigilance is needed until it's no longer needed. The vigilance is needed because the ego identity is so tenacious and distracts constantly. So the vigilance for love is a gift to your true self. It is your willingness to pay attention, to not want the trance to have its way anymore. All through the journey of remembering or not remembering in the early identity, when you're building an identity, you're gleaning from everything that you see and everything that you hear, and you're taking rules and you're taking criticisms and you're taking everything that you think you're supposed to take, and you make your own identity out of it. I remember being aware somewhere in the journey of that I had not a clue how to be in this world. And it wasn't because I was so messed up, even though I was. It was that I was coming to a realization within that I had not a clue how to be in this world. That I was completely confused. That I had not a clue of reality. That was a beautiful expression and an awareness of healing, of the opportunity to heal. Because there is nothing more difficult than a spiritual ego that decides it knows everything. That's much more difficult than saying, I don't have a clue what I'm doing or how to walk in this journey. That brings you to a place of honesty more quickly, which is so essential. To find that honesty within, that you truly want to be vigilant for love. and refuse the lies of the past. Every time you have a reaction, which is reactions seem automatic, and every time you have a reaction, you have again this opportunity of being vigilant, of recognizing the reaction and not accepting it. Because reactions, unless they're joyful, peaceful, they're going to be disturbing. And those reactions are the opportunity of saying, no, I'm not willing anymore to be the slave of those reactions. They're not true. They have no truth. There's only peace here. No one is doing anything. No one is an enemy. No one is the problem. I can accept truth right now. I can accept peace right now and come back to trust, come back to surrender, trusting and having faith in the truth of the universe, the truth of God, that I don't have to suffer, and that I can join in the will of God and choose moment to moment to surrender all reactions and all thoughts of knowing. And in that, come home to peace, come home to joy, come home to love, come home to your true self. And not to be concerned about how it happens, when it happens, but just to keep saying yes. Again and again and again, 1,000 times a day, yes. Show me the way. I will follow.